What's up, guys? Thomas Edwards, creator and author of The One Up Effect, here to raise the question, should it be illegal for your boss to text you after work hours? In Portugal, they actually established a law that states that most bosses cannot, or managers cannot, text or contact their employees after work hours. They're also not allowed to track what their employees do while they're working from home. Now, they noticed this due to the fact that when things were kind of locked down in their country, they did a mandatory work from home, and they're able to notice what was happening with workers. They noticed that their life satisfaction, their work life were completely out of balance, and they thought that by doing this would actually help. This also means that employers, bosses, managers, if they were to reach out to their employees after work hours, they could be heavily fined. Now, while contact two employees was forbidden, there was a rule that was not passed that would allow employees to turn off or disconnect from their employer's devices or message strings altogether. Now, these rules seem to really impact parents, where they don't have to arrange work from home logistics. In fact, because it's mandatory based on Portugal law, that they can actually work from home and be able to do that until their child turns 8 years old. Because the idea of working from home could lead to isolation and loneliness, they wanted to put in a measure that would require face-to-face, in-person interaction, making sure that face-to-face meetings and in-person interactions are required at least every 2 months. Now, what I find interesting about this is, yes, I think it's cool that create the flexibility. I feel like being able to work from home can have its benefits, but I think what's also important is employers have a really big responsibility to support and empower employees who are working from home be able to do so without sacrificing the rest of their lives. Because let's face it, what this pandemic has done is kind of forced us to work from home and be in a position where a lot of us don't know how to actually manage how to separate work from home. And now you're not even able to leave work at work. Work is at your home. It's a couple steps away through a laptop. And so for a lot of people, it's been very difficult to figure out, how do you find the synergy or balance when it comes to work and life? And having a measure like this can actually create some separation between being able to work and then having those hours be done, and then being able to kind of log off and not have to worry about being contacted by your manager or your boss for any particular reason. Now, if you're a digital nomad, then Portugal might be the ideal place for you, because you're able to work from wherever, whenever, without having to work out the logistics with your employer, since it's mandated. But for those who actually prefer to be working in a social environment, to be able to collaborate, this could be really challenging. Here's the truth. We are in such a new age in our lives that we're trying to figure out, how can we make this function in a way that is efficient, effective, and doesn't sacrifice human beings from being overworked. And so in my personal opinion, while I do like the idea of having the flexibility of working from home without having to deal with the logistics, making it illegal for managers and employees to contact them, which I feel like is just necessary for right now. I think, over time, we'll realize that it's just not okay to do that, and we'll kind of create those boundaries ourselves. And so this is why government's in place to establish these boundaries first, so we can actually kind of fall into that. But at the same time, you also have a concern with loneliness, people not being able to interact with people face to face. And so while this measure of getting together every 2 months is a nice kind of safe element, is once every 2 months enough? Is there more that can be done to increase the level of interaction, not over Zoom or in other video conferencing platforms, but just actually getting together with coworkers? This may be very difficult if your business or company is international and you have employees scattered throughout the world. Difference is, they're already conditioned to work under these circumstances. But for people who are more local and actually have been used to getting together with their employees and coworkers on a regular basis, how can there be more support for them to not feel the isolation, not feel the loneliness, and have that impact, not just their personal lives. But the truth is, when it impacts their personal lives, it's naturally going to affect their professional lives and vice versa. And so, what are some potential solutions that can be offered there by governments and by employers to support employees who are in this new place trying to figure out how they can make it all work in a time when it's actually being forced upon them? But I go back to the question I ask you. Do you think it should be illegal for bosses and managers to contact you after hours? If not, what seems reasonable? What's not reasonable? What I think doesn't matter. I care about what you think. So comment below, put it in there. I want to see. Please like, please subscribe, please hit that bell, get notified when we put out videos, which happen almost every single day. And of course, if you think this video is interesting or if you've never heard about this, share this with someone who might find this interesting too. I'd love to hear what they think about the idea. And if you want to learn more about happiness, success, how do we create this art of fulfillment, this game that I love calling the One Up Effect, you can go to theoneupeffect.com. This is Thomas Edwards reminding you to make life a game that you can win and have fun playing. Until next time, I'll see you around.